The purpose of this video is to introduce a high-level overview of the WISE initiative and to facilitate a conversation among the project participants about the direction and the focus of our efforts, and to clarify our action items in the near and longer-term future. The overall goal for our collaborative efforts is to establish a framework and a methodology that helps utilities create value and improve performance. Being an effective utility reflects the value that is created when people interact within the organization to execute business processes that may be enabled by technology. These three principal generators of value, people, processes, and technology, are therefore at the core of our framework and our methodology. For each of these three aspects, there is a range that describes different levels of capabilities. These are maturity models. Maturity models help us assess our current or as-is situation, our current capabilities, and they also help us set up goals for raising the capabilities to the next level of maturity. The overall capability of an organization is reflected in the maturity of its capabilities internally with regards to people, processes, and technology, and overall it is also measured by the impact that the organization has on external parties such as ratepayers, community, and the environment. In addition to the value creation, the WISE framework also includes the impact on external entities, and it expands the scope of internal aspects such as organizational culture, learning, and change management. This expanded framework is more inclusive, and it provides a more complete map of components and interactions. The details of this framework will not be discussed in this video because our primary target audience are the current participants in the UAM project, and they are familiar with this framework. The framework provides us with a map, and a methodology provides us with specific steps for improvement. The key point is that the methodology on the right can be applied to any of the components included in the framework shown on the left. During the first 3 years of the UAM project, we have focused on value creation. More specifically, our efforts started with the focus on business processes. We will first demonstrate how each of the methodology steps were applied to business processes, and later we will discuss how the same methodology can be expanded to other components of the framework. We started with a maturity model for business processes from the CMMI Institute that defined different levels of capabilities for processes. The difference between the levels of maturity was based on where the knowledge resides, for example, if it is in people's heads or if it has been documented, and how the knowledge is used to manage the processes. A maturity model describes a range of capabilities, how well a system could work, and an assessment method can help us find out the actual capabilities of a specific system, and it tells us where it is on the range of the maturity model. We have been using the word system because our approach is based on so-called system thinking. A system is the focus of our investigation. In this case, the word system meant business processes. Therefore, a system model that would explain how a process actually works is a business process model. Engineers have been using system models for years to describe the behavior of our sewers and treatment plants, using models based on mathematical descriptions of hydraulics, kinetics, biology, or chemistry. A hydraulic model could tell us a lot about the flows and the pressures in our network. A business process model can answer a lot of questions about our process. Some of the questions are included in this list: the sequence and path of activities, what decisions have to be made, who makes them, which business units are involved, and what information may be required to perform different activities. A business process model encapsulates our knowledge about a business process. We can use the models to discuss possible improvements with stakeholders and evaluate different options for improvement. We can design the new to-be process based on the input from different stakeholders. A great example of using the simulations capability of business process models to design a to-be process was provided by a case study from the city of Grand Rapids. Simulation results demonstrated the impact of the proposed changes to a process and quantified the benefits. Once we have defined our desired to-be system, the next step in the methodology is to prepare a project management plan. The next step of the methodology to execute the improvement plan and implement improvements will require a strategy for managing changes. Change management is included in the focus of our current ongoing research on the UAM project. It'll demand, in addition to the process and technology aspects, that we consider the components of the people column, including workforce and organizational culture. Once the changes have been implemented, we will need to monitor the performance and the impact of the changes. As we can see from the maturity model for business processes, the ability to monitor and manage performance based on quantitative measurements is an advanced capability. Let's imagine for a moment that we are implementing a dashboard to monitor the status of business processes. As shown here, such a dashboard could be organized around different processes. What is shown are the main stages of the CIP process that have been identified and modeled during the collaborative efforts by UAM utility partners in 2019 and 2020. The level of granularity of such dashboards would be adjusted based on a user's interest. Each of these processes include many sub-processes, so while this specific dashboard may be informative for an upper-level manager, a similar dashboard could be constructed with much more granularity to focus on just one of the processes, for example, preparing detailed design, and include all the sub-processes that are included in that process of final design. The dashboard for business processes would therefore reflect the hierarchy and granularity of the water sector value model. The same method that was applied to business processes could be applied to other components of the value creation and impact framework. As we can see, the components of the people aspects are included in the framework. In addition to being included in the same framework, they can be addressed using the same system thinking approach and methodology that we used for business processes. While the framework and the methodology are the same, the models and specific methods for these three people aspects would be different. For example, our system is no longer business processes, but these three areas of the people aspects are now our three new systems. The decision to break down the people column into three components was made by utilities participating in the UAM project during the discussions and workshops in the early part of 2020. Let's look into the future and consider how we could examine the status of the systems in the people column within some dashboard that we may construct. It is not unexpected to be intimidated by the complexity of the people topics. Trying to address these challenges for the entire organization would involve many people and require very significant effort. One way to make our job easier is to organize our approach to these three capabilities according to different business processes. We would introduce the changes incrementally by first applying the methodology to one or a few of specific business processes. Each process engages a subset of the organization. We could start with a process that has high impact and includes a few business units and people and that may have larger appetite for and readiness for change. So this approach is scalable and it allows the utilities participating in the WISE initiative to learn from their own experiences and from each other. Our initial short-term focus during the next few months will not include a detailed examination of external impact. These very important aspects and challenges would be addressed in the future. Our plan for the future is to continue our work on business process modeling within our collaborative improvement initiatives. Utility partners are currently collaborating to define a maturity model for workforce, including describing the characteristics for each of the levels in the maturity of workforce, and also assessment methods to determine where a specific workforce fits within the maturity model. And we are doing the same for organizational culture. This same approach is applicable also to technology. The information included here is from the draft documents produced by the ongoing work on the Water Research Foundation Project 5039 on smart utilities and intelligent water systems, where I'm serving as the co-principal investigator. We are also working on the third aspect of the people column and collaborating on maturity models and assessment methods for change management. This is a mock-up of an integrated dashboard that we may construct in the future based on our research. It is organized around business processes and it includes assessments based on maturity models. An advantage of the dashboard we are proposing is scalability. We can start with a specific process and identify the opportunity for improvement. In this case, it seems like investment in improving change management processes and practices may make sense. On another process, we may notice that decision support is the weak link. Further analysis into the process models may show us that some decisions may require information from different IT systems, and an examination of the technology stack may reveal that better system integration may improve the quality of information that is provided to decision makers. Although some of the concepts that were presented may be new or advanced, it is important to keep in mind that this is applied, collaborative research that is directly supported by utility partners, conducted with strong engagement by their staff and management. This ensures that the focus remains on issues and aspects that can deliver tangible and practical results and improvements to them.